a Reflect on Your Path project. Francine has planned and implemented numerous events throughout her professional career and has learned a wealth of information along the way. Completing the strategic relationships path has given her a whole new outlook on event planning. She will tell us about her early days and how she has evolved from a do-it-yourselfer to a do-it-with-a-team type of leader. This has allowed her to do what she could only have considered impossible just a few short years ago. Please welcome Francine with her speech title, Becoming an Event Planner.
I was a military leader. I was a squad leader in Iraq, and I was in charge of people who were tasked with fixing aircraft. Well, I thought that these skills would transfer over to Toastmasters. Whoa, was I wrong? In the military, and Tom knows what I'm talking about, my fellow veteran here. In the military, you have to follow your leader or there are consequences. People are, by law, required to follow the leader. And then I discovered that in Toastmasters, we are leading volunteers. There's no such thing as giving a direct order. There's no such thing as an Article 15, which is what a military person gets when they don't follow a direct order. Because a volunteer could say, I'm not doing that, and walk away, which almost happened to me, but luckily for diplomacy, I dodged that bullet. And Sue's going to like this because I like to equate leading in Toastmasters to herding cats. And I have herded my share of cats when I was an area director, doing the legacy DTM and several other paths of leadership projects that I've completed. Because I hadn't learned the most important part that I'm going to talk about tonight. I learned that when you're doing a project, there's what's called social capital. And you can't start the project and just expect everybody to fall in line behind you. You have to build up that social capital before the project is ever thought of. And that's what was missing the first several times I planned contests as an area director. Oh, I gathered a team, but I didn't know what to do. So how was I supposed to tell my team what to do? And I found people who really didn't know me. So they did not understand my leadership style. I had never done anything for them that they owed me for, because that is what I mean by social capital. And then as I progressed, I found a partner. I co-led a division contest with my friend Aisha. And I'm not even going to try her last name because I always mess it up. But Aisha and I fed off of each other's strengths and weaknesses. She knew people I didn't, I knew people she didn't, and together we pulled our resources and we got the job done. Way easier than I ever thought about doing it when I was doing it myself. You know, my mentors always preach, find a team, don't do it yourself, delegate. Well, that's all good and easy to hear and to say, but no one told me how. And that's something that I learned through trial and error. I did it wrong so many ways. And that's what I love about Toastmasters is I had a team. You really could have done that better. Or, if you just asked me, I knew what to do. But through all of these scoldings, I learned how to be a better leader and how to plan an event. I learned that building relationships before you need them gives you the necessary allies when you need help. And before I learned this key lesson, like I said, I failed miserably several times, but it wasn't a failure because I learned. And I learned so much and so well that when my publisher told me to put together an event with about 100 people and do it before Christmas, and he said it less than 2 months ago, you know what? I wasn't afraid. It was not a daunting experience for me because I've done it before. And I had all that social capital built up from working with other people. Not only Toastmasters, in the Chamber of Commerce, I'm steadily building relationships. So the first thing I did is I tried to find a partner, just like I did with Aisha in that division contest. And I did. I found the owner of a store. And because my book is a children's book, I found a children's optometrist. And we're doing it in her store. Check, I got the venue, which is usually the hardest thing to do. I'm going to just cut to the chase. Now we have a bounce house. We have a hot dog cart. We have a parking lot full of vendors. I found other authors to do signings. And my publisher said, great job. I'm going to fly in and make this an even better event. Without Toastmasters, I never, ever, ever would have been able to do that. Now, some of you may have heard about another little event I'm planning. We're having this little party in Orlando for about 400 of our closest friends in May. Our district conference, I am the conference chair. And the only reason I took on that job is because I knew I had the social capital built up to get a fantastic team. And boy, do I ever have a fantastic team. I run my meetings like brainstorming sessions. And while we were brainstorming, we decided to raise up the volume on sponsorships so we could get more money to have a better conference. Well, we have this great sponsorship program, and it was brought to our attention that sponsorships have always been lacking, that people don't sell, that we don't have a lot of salespeople. And then we said, what if we had sales training? I am not a salesperson. I could not have done this by myself, but guess what? I found some salespeople. And Barbara Amato took on this project as one of her level 4 moderating a panel discussion. And she put together this fantastic team of sales professionals. And they took this sales training way higher and way better than I ever could have done it, ever could have dreamed. And all I did was say, hey, Barbara, can you help me? I got you. And they did. Go to District 84 YouTube and you could find it. It's called Show Me the Money. Beth Ramsey was the moderator, and we had a panel full of sales professionals telling us not only how to sell sponsorships for our conference, but if you have to sell anything, and I'm going to equate this to if you have to win a fight with your husband, this sales training will help you. So check it out. This sales training was amazing, and I have to give kudos to my team. Well, another thing we're doing, we're trying something new this year. How many of you already have DTMs? Oh, good. I am so glad we have a lot of DTMs in the audience right now. Now, how many of you have DTMs in the Pathways program? Good, good, good. When it came time to do your DTM project, did anyone do this? It's, what am I going to do? How do I do this? I know I did. And several other people I've talked to have. Not only that, how do you get to mentor a club or coach a club? Or what are the steps to becoming a DTM? Well, in this conference this year, we are going to have training on the path to DTM. It's going to be fun because it's going to be dancing your way to DTM because our theme is dancing. And we are looking for different classes or different ways where we could do some networking with the members, where the members who are wanting to get their DTM and needing help can find people who have already walked the path and get helpful hints, maybe some tips, maybe some social capital that could help them with their projects. So what I'd like to do now is to open the floor and say, if I only knew then, getting my DTM would have been easier. So we could find what was challenging to you in getting your DTM so we could pass this information down to the up and coming Toastmasters and make it easier for them. Paula, can you start us out on some of the ideas we've had on the team?
Absolutely. Well, knowing that I am the club extension chair this year, one of the ideas was, as you mentioned earlier, becoming either a sponsor or a mentor for a new club. And that's one of the things that the club extension chair works on. So one of the ideas that we have is that chairs like myself will make ourselves available for any of you who have questions about how to become a sponsor or a mentor. What are the duties of the sponsor or mentor? And what do I need to know to be a sponsor or mentor in order to get my DTM? So that's one of the things we've talked about. And that's one of the things we're going to include in this Pathways to DTM event.
Does anyone else want to share a challenge they had getting their DTM? Linda.
I got my DTM in 2016, and it just seemed the opportunities came up. People knew how to do it, and it was easy for me. On my second DTM, which would be in Pathways, I'm one project away, and that's doing Speechcraft. And it's my technology. What's the opposite of prowess? My lack of prowess in that gobbledygook of technology is keeping me from doing that and achieving a second one. It would be my first one in the Pathways program. So if people were more clear, because it seems from TI you have to buy the program before you can understand how to do like an online Speechcraft.
Thank you, Linda. We will definitely add a piece on speechcraft because that was very difficult when I did mine. Okay, I have time for one more. Somebody else. Stephanie.
I'm with Linda. When it comes to technology, I'm just not there. And I would need help with blogs and podcasts and things of that sort. Don't have a clue.
Okay, so we are going to have a computer room. Maybe we could do something on how to navigate that. That's a good idea. Thank you. Tom, do I have any more time?
We got 12 seconds.
Well, I am just going to wrap this up and say thank you for the great ideas and see you at conference.
Thank you very much, Francine, for very inspiring speech and lots of ideas on how to do team projects successfully, and where it's all going in the future. So thank you very much for that. Not much gobbledygook in that at all. Very little. Next, we have a speech from Charlotte Hand. And Charlotte is doing visionary communication path. This is a level 2 speech, understanding your communication style. Charlotte will be sharing some of her unusual interactions in communicating with an odd group. Pathways states that there are 4 basic communication styles: